Good morning. This week, we're going to go through a couple of things that will help you draft your argument. So, first of all, you're watching this video, so that's helpful. You're going to have a sample argument to help you draft this time instead of waiting until after you do your draft. So, where you need to go for that is Blackboard, and you will hit Resources. And in Resources, you have a PDF file that you can view within the window or download it, whichever. So my argument is about women's reproductive health, which no one in the class can argue about abortion. So this is a topic that nobody else has, but it will show you how you could potentially work to develop your essay. You only need to have 2 pages complete for the draft. So what you will want to do is you can take a look at my draft, see how I have built the introduction. To start, I have background information, so just a general statement here about reproductive health and what this means. I have a statement of how some people feel, how other people feel, and it's still another option on how people view this topic. So that helps you show in your own words that you understand there are multiple sides to this argument. And then I have my thesis statement right here. Very simple, straightforward statement. And then I have one statement to explain it. Now, you don't have to have a 2-sentence thesis. That's what I have. But you do need to have at least one sentence that states your should or should not, the thesis that I approved or gave you feedback on last week. Once you have that done, then you can start thinking about the background information that you might need for this to explain. So for example, I needed to define what is reproductive health. So I actually took 2 of my sources are they are reference pieces, and they are, one is the World Health Organization and the other is the National Institute of Environmental Health Sciences. So those were both reference books that I looked up reproductive health in and defined them. You can see how I did that. And actually, I need to go in and fix a couple things on this. So just so you know, I'm going to go in and fix the citations because this is APA style, not MLA style. It should have the author's name here or nothing at all. So don't worry about citing anything yet in text. We'll talk about that next week when you start to actually refine your draft. So don't worry about that. Just note how I'm opening up the quotes that I'm providing. I'm saying this organization says, and then I have the quote, and then there should be a period at the end of the sentence, either here if that's the end or here, like in this case. Then I have another paragraph that talks about the law, so the history, the context. You don't have to have that second paragraph if there isn't any information that you need to share there, but I needed that because I needed to talk about the law, the Supreme Court decision that gave women the right to choose if they wanted to have an abortion or not in 1973. And then I start talking about the different sides to the argument. So one is women should have the right to choose, and here's my reason. Okay? There's a source in here, so one of my sources, this is from Georgia. It just so happens to be from the Southeast Abortion Fund, which is kind of interesting considering these are Christian people. But this is just one of the sources that I found. And then I, again, will need to fix the in-text citation. It should just be the last name, not the year. But anyhow, you can see how it's set up. Here's a second one. So notice I have a transition here, and I have a second source. And then there's a third one here. And another source is cited in here. And finally, I have a counterclaim, which is a popular argument against abortion. And lastly, I have a conclusion. Now, again, you don't need to have 5 pages in your draft, so you're going to shoot for 2 pages, and you can use this as a guide if you need it. How you're going to submit this is a little bit different this time. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to whole group discussion board, and I'm actually going to create it right now, so it's ready to go. You are going to do your argument first draft, and I'm going to say submit your first argument draft of at least 2 pages, double-spaced, in MLA format. Okay. Now, this is going to be due. I'm going to put in points here. This is going to be due on the 1st at 11:59 p.m., which is what we discussed already. And it's now posted. So what you will do is you will look and see where it is. I'll move it up to the top. That's where you post your draft. Okay? But then you're going to respond to a peer's draft, which that's not going to be posted until the end of the day on Wednesday. So I would log in on Thursday. You can try on Wednesday. Maybe somebody's already posted. You can try if you'd like, but I would suggest going on Thursday and just looking in there and seeing whose draft you'd like to respond to. And you're going to go peer response to argument draft. Okay? And what I'm going to do is I'll put in some questions here for you, and you will actually respond to a student's draft in the class using these questions. So questions to answer to respond to a student draft. And I'll put those in there for you and open that up. So you're first going to post your draft, and then you're going to go to the second whole group discussion board, and you're going to respond to that particular draft. You're going to need to say in your post whose draft you're responding to. So when you create a reply, make sure you say who you're responding to. Otherwise, we will not know whose draft you're talking about. Okay, so I'll take care of those questions in just a minute after I get finished with this video. So once you've done that, then you're going to do the grammar exercises. So those were for some reason invisible, so they're now there, and you can finish them by tomorrow night at midnight. You have unlimited attempts, so don't just be settled with, an 8 out of 10. You can do it as many times as you need to, so you can get 100%. And then finally, I will open up a test on Wednesday for grammar, and you can use the PowerPoint, you can use the examples, whatever you need to do, but you also have unlimited attempts on that. The point is that you get them correct, not that it's not about, the grade. I want you to do it until you get it right. So until the 5th at 11:59 p.m., you have to get that test complete, and then next week we will begin a new topic for grammar. So that should help you get through this week. I will post an announcement to remind you what to do, but I've updated the course calendar in our Blackboard shell only through the end of this week, so I needed to see what would happen with the college. Now that we have decided that we're going to stay online the rest of the semester, including finals, I'll go ahead and update the calendar by the end of the week so you have an idea of what you need to do moving forward. So that's all that you should need. Go ahead and get working on your draft and the grammar, and we will be back in touch next week.